Um, okay, let's talk Killdozer. Let's talk Killdozer. So Killdozer is the story of Marvin Heemeyer. Let's quickly summarize this. I'm going to borrow the wiki. I'm going to borrow the wiki of the Killdozer just for a quick summary. Some people don't know what it is. I'll pull up a picture and we'll maybe even a brief video and we'll take a peek of it at it. Okay. So Marvin Heemeyer is this guy. He ends up in Granby, Colorado. He doesn't want to really stay there, but he ends up being there due to a set of circumstances. Opens a muffler shop. He's a muffler man. And he opens his shop in Granby, Colorado, due to some weird stuff. If you've never been to Granby, it's about an hour 45, 2 hours northwest of Denver in the Rocky Mountains. It's not super far, but it's mountain roads, really windy, a lot of slowdown, and it takes a bit to get there, but it's beautiful. It's a beautiful place. It's near Winter Park, which is a big ski area. Also beautiful. There's a great Cajun restaurant in Winter Park, Colorado, which doesn't make any sense. There was an OK barbecue place. I don't know if it's still there, but the Cajun place is banging. And then about 15 minutes past Granby is there's a nice hot spring resort past there. But it's a beautiful part of Colorado, and I, my wife and I used to go to Granby all the time. We haven't been there in several years. I would love to go back. But he's a muffler shop owner, and he gets into a property dispute with a concrete factory that springs up next door. And the short of it is, here's what the wiki says. In 1992, Heemeyer purchased 2 acres of land from the Resolution Trust Corporation. If you want like a good story about this, go listen to Count Dankula tell it, because you can hear him speaking words, but you can never really understand what he's saying because of the thick Scottish accent. But Dankula did a video on the Killdozer it's an absolute Mad Lads video of Marvin Heemeyer, and it's a good summary of it. I'm just giving you the quick and dirty, but go watch it. He purchased 2 acres of land from the Resolution Trust Corporation, the federal agency organized to handle assets of failed savings and loan associations, for $42,000 to build a muffler shop. I'll take you to my muffler shop. He subsequently agreed to sell the land to Cody Dochev to build a concrete batch plant, Mountain Park Concrete, for $250,000. According to Susan Dochev, Heemeyer changed his mind, increased the price to $375,000, then to a deal worth approximately $1 million. This negotiation happened before the rezoning proposal was heard by the town council. In 2001, Granby Zoning Commission and trustees approved the construction of the concrete plant. Heemeyer unsuccessfully appealed the decision, claiming the construction blocked access to his shop. He was subsequently fined $2,500 for not having a septic tank on the property his muffler shop occupied. This is such a shitty version of the story. It's a whole lot more complicated than that. It goes into these two have drama going back to when Heemeyer purchased his land. Cody wanted to buy the land that Heemeyer ended up purchasing. Heemeyer came in and outbid him. Cody's always been mad at him about that. So he then buys this adjacent property. And Heemeyer didn't really know that that's who was buying it. It was a big mess. And actually, like, the back and forth here is way wrong. He was negotiating to sell his own property. The wiki's just messed up. He was negotiating to sell his own property to Cody because he, couldn't get what he needed for his own property, which was this septic line. He needed an easement that would go under the, it would have to go under the concrete factory, and they wouldn't do it. And so it's going to be this really expensive process to get a septic line on the property that he already owned because this guy came in and basically stiff armed him out of the ability to do it. Okay. That's the quick and dirty version. Basically, local town politics colluded with a local business owner and screwed Heemeyer out of his own business. That's the real story here. That's the story that that is one that's identifiable by tons of people across the country. All right. So here's the deal. What does he do? What does he do? Well, a lot of stuff happens. He does end up selling the property, his own property, but he ends up building this. He ends up building this. He has an excavator, or is this a bulldozer? Not an excavator. He has this bulldozer, and he covers it with rebar reinforced concrete, like a monster. He builds his own tank. He installs, and this is in the early 2000s, man. This is not high tech. He's got gun portholes. He's got some external cameras. There are no windows. This man could not be sniped out. He's got 3 gun portholes and cameras to help him see around. He's got these big fucking monitors inside so he could drive this thing. And he takes it to town. As you can imagine, what this thing does to anything that gets in its way when it's moving is a thing of beauty. Let's see if we can get a short video on it. Every time I do this, Discovery Channel tries to come in and claim my video. Always do it. So let's see if we can get some of this. All right. Let me get my headphones on. We'll do some clips of this real quick. So it's important to note, because YouTube gets their titties in a bunch about this stuff, that Marvin Heemeyer didn't kill a single person, didn't injure anybody either. But here's the video. Smash into plant. What do you do against it? It's just this lingering destruction here. The cops, their little small arms fire. What are you going to do, cops? You're going to shoot an AR-15 at that? It's steel and concrete. You can't do anything. He's got a big vehicle. Yeah, he does. So he's just driving around smashing shit, and this is what he does. He just drives through Granby smashing stuff. Some dumbass tries to stop him with a grader. That doesn't work. A bulldozer versus grader, you can imagine what happened there. Let's see if there's any more. Okay. There's some shitty video angles on this one, but you get the gist. Okay, you get the gist. This guy went through town, smashing up some buildings, smashing up some government property. And he had a list of people who had wronged him, and he went to go bust up their shit. And they couldn't do anything about it because you can't stop it. What ended up stopping it is he crushed part of this building. And then as he was going on one hand, like the inside of the building, there's like basically a stairwell down into a basement. And he ended up kind of stranded, straddling this area, whereas the left side of the Killdozer's on the ground and the right side's kind of hovering over this void in the building. And it cashes out the engine, and then he's stopped. Rumor has it that he popped himself with his gun inside the mechanism. Some people believe that maybe a government agent put a bullet in him upon entry to the vehicle, but the prevailing theory is that he offed himself. Okay, so that's what we need to know about the Killdozer. Now, why is this thing important? Why is this thing important? This is the critical question. Let me pull this up, because my Twitter is just a place where all of this stuff always seems to come together. Let's see. So here we go. One other thing to remember is that one of the greatest quotes that you could get. He said, "Sometimes a reasonable man has to do unreasonable things." That was like the punctuation mark on his manifesto, right? And so here we go. Count Dankula on the 4th posted the Heemeyer anniversary. And this day, 18 years ago, a reasonable man had to do unreasonable things. So then, I just post, "Never forget and reasonable man." And then immediately I get this person. I don't know who this person is. Seriously, are you condoning what he did? And this is how this is always goes with all of this stuff. It's without fail. So you support what he did. What? All anybody ever cares about is the fucking what, isn't it? What happened? Is that my snarky response? I take it you aren't. Okay. All right. What Marvin Heemeyer did was violence, right? Like, he doesn't kill anybody, but he does destroy a lot of property. Do we want people running around destroying property? Well, no. Like, you would not be happy if your property was destroyed by a maniac with a fucking tractor. Obviously. Anybody who's ever lived next to a drunken hillbilly knows this. You're not happy when it happens. But here's the thing. Here's why people gravitate to this story. Here's why 18 years later, people talk about the Killdozer. And here is why. And this is the most telling part of it. Marvin Heemeyer, or his Killdozer, when the government got it and dismantled it, they sent the parts of the Killdozer to different dump sites around the country because they were legitimately afraid that someone would collect the parts and reconstruct it, and they wanted to make it difficult. Why? It's not the what, it's the why. Why does he do it? Why is the government scared? And that's what people celebrate. The government was afraid of the citizenry for 15 minutes. For 15 minutes. And all it took was a tractor and a little know-how. The guy had 3 guns. I think he fired a couple shots into the street to kind of dissuade people from coming at him. I don't remember if he fired him at all, but he had a couple guns. He did. He didn't use them. Like, he didn't kill somebody with them. He wasn't shooting down the police or anything. They were so terrified of a guy, and all he did was layer some concrete and metal over a tractor and drive it. And it brought a functioning government to its knees, to the point where they had to dismantle the thing and send it all over the country because its ghost might come back and wreck their shit again. For just a couple minutes. For just a couple minutes in 2004, the government remembered who ran it. And all it took was one guy. And if you read his story, you can see how fucking far he was pushed. How hard he was pushed. What he tried to do, how he tried to rectify it. And remember, like, what pisses me off is these fucking people who come in and they're like, well, he offered, the one guy offered more money than what his property was worth, and then he backed out on the deal. Yeah, it's his. He doesn't have to ever do a deal. He doesn't have to sell it to you. If I come up to you and I offer you 4 times what your house is worth, some of you might say, no, this is mine. I built this. I own this. This is my thing. And I don't want to move. I don't want to change. Just because I offer you 4 times the market value doesn't mean that it's worth that to you. And it never, ever has to be. And no one can be compelled to give up their shit. That's freedom. That's what people feel. That's the visceral feeling that people get in their fucking balls. Men and women alike. Women grow a massive pair of nuts when they think about the Killdozer. They're like, yeah, holy shit, my ovaries finally dropped. And they get big balls and they're like, fuck the government because this is mine. And no, you can't have it. This is what commies don't understand. This is what central planners will never understand. It's what socialists, it's why socialists get thrown out of helicopters. Because they'll never, ever get it. That this is my thing. And no, you can't have it. I don't care what you pay me. And I'm sorry that you don't like it, but fuck you. That's why. It takes me back to this debate I had. This was not an intentional debate. It was an unintentional debate with this guy named Just Some Guy. It was on a Flashcast. And we were talking about the guy who had hoarded up hand sanitizer right at the beginning of COVID and was selling hand sanitizer for an expensive amount on Amazon Marketplace and on eBay. Is the guy a piece of shit? Sure. Yeah, I guess. I mean, if you value hand sanitizer that much, I guess the guy's a piece of shit. I don't know. I don't care. Stock up on all the hand sanitizer and scalp everybody. Fuck you. Rub that gooey alcohol shit all over yourself. I hate that stuff. It's probably why you got COVID in the first place. I am a doctor, and that's true. But we get into this discussion, and I said, what if I have a tree growing on my property, my tree, and like a leaf of the tree, you take the leaf and you eat it, and it cures cancer forever. It just cures your cancer. Should you be able to take my tree? Should I be able to charge you whatever I want for my tree? And most importantly, what if I don't want to sell it? What if I never want to sell anybody that leaf? Should they be able to come get it? The answer is always no. No, they cannot have it if I don't want to give it to you because it's mine. And I'm sorry. Does that make someone an asshole? Maybe. Maybe they're the worst asshole on the planet. I don't care. It doesn't matter. This is what the Killdozer represents. You can't have my thing and you can't muscle me out of my business. And when you do it, and they ultimately did it, he put the fear of not God, but of Komatsu. Komatsu. He put the fear of tractor in these people for just a moment of time. They tell us that, oh, well, if the government actually wanted to oppress the citizen, your stupid little gun wouldn't stop them. All the guns in that town couldn't stop one fucking Killdozer. Just one guy. That's what people latch onto. That's what people remember. That's what people see. And anybody who thinks that oh, you can't resist the government if they turn on you, they're dead fucking wrong. And we only have all of human history to show how wrong that they are. Only all of it. Insurgent actions are some of the most drawn out, devastating, and ultimately useless actions on the planet, or counterinsurgencies, I should say. And the reason is because, seriously, a guy with a tractor brought a whole town down. We rely on ordered society. The government relies on ordered society for it to exist. It exists because we allow it to. And the Killdozer is one reason that we remember that government is allowed to exist, because we let it go. Because imagine if instead of one Marvin Heemeyer in Granby, Colorado, there were 10. Just 10. What would they have done? They couldn't stop one. It got stopped by nature, by fate, by bad luck. What if there were 100? Now, instead of Granby, make it Chicago. Scale up the numbers. It'd be 10,000 tractors. And they'd be just as ineffective at stopping them. What happens? What happens then? Government knows it lives on a thread of our trust. And Marvin plucked it. Again, we don't condone the destruction of property. Destruction of property goes against the basic tenets of non-aggression, of libertarianism. It goes against the rule of law. If that's your ethical set, it doesn't matter what it is. It goes against the basic civilized society, right? But what happens when society becomes uncivil? Well, then its citizenry becomes uncivil, and everybody quickly learns their place. That's what Marvin Heemeyer is. And just a brief note, because I mentioned the Sky King earlier. The Sky King represents a different type of freedom. The Sky King represents a liberation from a world bent on crushing you down, on grinding you into dust, on putting you in the ground. That's what the Sky King did. He stepped away from the path of oppression that he saw. And he captured the attention of a generation of young men. And the fact that people didn't wake up to how captivated young men were by the Sky King worried the shit out of me. Because a bunch of young men saw a man engaged in freedom and saw a man bucking the system that they're all destined towards in their minds. We are not put here to be cogs in a corporate bureaucratic machine. We may end up being cogs in a corpo bureaucratic machine. That might happen, but we're not made to be that way. And when we're expected to be put in that place, when we are expected to fall into the fucking machinery and be lost to society, that is dystopian and nightmarish for anybody who has an iota of independence. There are people who will work soul-crushing jobs for decades. Look at the Sky King and go, some of them, not all of them, will look and go, I would have rather flown a 747 into the fucking ground than given my life to a corporation who hates me or a government who sees me as a tax payment. And the Sky King, and in a different way, the Killdozer, these are warnings for society. And notice that they're coming from men. And what do we have going on today? It's not addressing the issues as to why men feel this way, as to why young men are inspired by the deaths of these other people, by the self-deletions that occur. Why are they looking with longing towards a glorious, quote unquote, glorious end of a Marvin Heemeyer or a Sky King? Why are they looking at that? Why are they listening to their words about escape from what they consider bondage, about transcending into liberation? Why aren't they looking at that? They should be very, very afraid of the state of young men today. And here's why. This goes into my next point.